Hey everybody, Movie Fan Z here. So the movie I'm going to be reviewing for you is a musical movie from 1979, and that is Hair. So I had heard of this movie before, but I had never seen anything related to it, or actually I had heard of the musical as well. But basically, this movie follows Claude Bukowski from Oklahoma, who travels to New York and gets in with a group of hippies led by a guy named Berger. But he's already been drafted for the Vietnam War. But while in New York, he falls for a rich girl named Sheila, who is also kind of a rebel. But let's get into the cast and the director. The director is Milos Forman. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And the movie right before this that he did was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then after this, he did Amadeus in 1984 and Man on the Moon in 1999, where Jim Carrey plays Andy Kaufman. As far as the cast, there's only three main people to concern yourself with. That is John Savage, who plays Claude. Treat Williams plays Berger, and Beverly D'Angelo plays Sheila. And if you've heard her name before, it's because she plays the mom in all of the vacation movies except for the latest one, even though she has a smaller role in that one as well. So let's get into this. I had heard of the musical before, and the only thing I had seen before now, was the Tony's performance, like over a decade ago. That's the only exposure I really had. So honestly, I was not a big fan. There was a couple positives, but we'll we'll just get into it. I thought Treat Williams was the best part of this movie. I thought he had the best character and the best acting. And I thought the heaviest part of this movie, and I think maybe the best part, was like the last 5 minutes. Because something big happens in that. And I feel like that's the biggest part of the movie. As far as negatives go, I was not a fan of any of the other acting. I felt it was kind of bland. Um, I felt, even though it was a musical, I felt there were too many songs. I thought the story was okay. Um, the romance it did not feel natural. Like, he sees this girl on his first day and instantly falls in love with her, and they somewhat try to have a relationship after like a couple days before he leaves for training. And the other thing I'm going to say, and this, again, this came out in 1979, so this kind of started it, but I've seen so many movies since then that have done this trope. It's getting a little overplayed when you have a rich girl who is fawned over by someone that's not rich, and their romance, I guess, it just, the two opposite ends seems very overplayed in terms of a trope. But overall, again, I was not a huge fan of this movie. I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5. I wanted to like this more because it had been talked about in a movie debate about a month ago of being maybe the worst musical movie of the 1970s, and I wanted to see if it was actually true. But I kind of agree. Maybe it's not the worst, but it wasn't as good as I wanted. So that is my review for 1979's Hair. Come back next time for another review. This is Movie Fan Z signing off. Have a good night.